Castles have always been the centerpiece of the Disney company. There's a castle in all the classic films, let's face it, the best films, and there's a castle as the intro for pretty much every Disney feature film. Castles have clearly always been a massive part of what Disney is, so it's only fitting that there's a castle as the center point of all their main traditional theme parks. There's 6 traditional parks, so not counting Walt Disney Studios, California Adventure, Tokyo Disney Sea. Although they're all separate theme parks and they're all very good in their own ways, I'm specifically talking about the traditional parks. So the parks with Main Street. Apart from Shanghai, they have Mickey Avenue, but that's basically just a short Main Street. The parks with the castle, obviously, and the parks with the usual themed areas. In each of the traditional Disney parks, there's a unique castle. None of them are exactly the same, and some are better than others, to say the least. So today I thought it would be interesting to take a look at all the different castles, their history, their designs, and rank them all. Before we get started, if this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, please consider subscribing. It's free and it will make sure you don't miss any future Disney updates or videos like this one. Of course, these are just going to be my opinions, so if you've got any different ones, let me know in the comments. It will be interesting to see what other people think of the castles. I also just want to point out that I am a fan of Disney. I find it genuinely impossible to dislike any of the castles mentioned in this video, but this is basically how I'd rank them in a particular order. It's not really about which ones I like and don't like. Okay, so first off, we've got the original. Disneyland California's castle is at this point the shortest of all the castles. It opened with Disneyland in 1955. Originally it had quite a plain design. It's said to be based off the Sleeping Beauty castle in some form, but as you can see from this comparison, they're just really not that similar. Recently it got a big refurbishment though. They updated some of the colour scheme and added some stars and other details around it. Honestly, it's never been my favourite castle, that's why I'm ranking it so low. I like the history behind it, but as the central point of the original Disney theme park, and some might argue the original theme park, it just doesn't feel like it's at its full potential in comparison to the other castles. Next up is Tokyo Disneyland, a unique park in many ways, the main one being the fact that they put a roof over Main Street. This castle is honestly very close to being my least favourite. It's essentially just a direct copy of Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom castle, before the refurb they did on that, so that just makes it even worse. The only reason this isn't my least favourite castle is the fact that they had a walkthrough tour thing a while ago. Next up on the list is Disneyland Paris' Sleeping Beauty castle. Now this castle very clearly resembles the actual Sleeping Beauty castle, better than California's did. This castle opened with the park in 1992. Features a giant animatronic dragon, stained glass windows, somewhat of a walkthrough attraction, 2 gift shops, and my personal favourite, golden snails on the tower roofs to mock the French. Honestly, this castle is really good. There's a lot that makes it unique. I would rate it higher, but it's just a bit outdated. It's undergoing a refurb at the moment, so we'll see what gets updated soon. But I think it just needs a more California style repaint and general modernising. Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom is home to the original Cinderella themed castle. This castle is honestly really cool. It's even got a hotel room inside it. They're actually offering cast members a free night at a Disney hotel at the moment. I'm wondering if it's actually possible to request that room. If it is, I just remembered I'm a cast member. Anyway, it used to rank similarly to Disneyland California's castle in my opinion. It was just very plain and basic and a bit too white for my liking. But then they also did a recent refurbishment where they recoloured the roofs of the towers and added this cool pink gradient. Minor changes, but they make such a big difference. This castle's definitely gone through some what is that? Some interesting phases during its time. Shanghai Disneyland is another really unique park and probably home to the most unique castle. This is known, I believe, as the Enchanted Storybook Castle. It's basically described as a combination of multiple different Disney princesses. This castle also featured as the Walt Disney Pictures intro for the recent live-action Mulan remake. It's the biggest and tallest one so far, and honestly very close to being my favourite. I can't explain why it's not my favourite, to be honest. It's just like nothing specific that I change about it. I guess we'll just move on to the number 1 spot. Hong Kong Disneyland's Castle of Magical Dreams takes number 1 spot in my opinion. So it used to be very similar to Tokyo Disneyland in the sense that it was just basically a copy of Disneyland California's castle. But as of the park's 15th anniversary, they did a major refurb for the whole thing, and it's honestly just been transformed into a completely different thing. I believe this one's themed somewhat to Frozen and some other princesses. I can definitely see some Little Mermaid influences in there. Like the Shanghai castle, I can't explain why this one's my favourite exactly. I think it's just the fact that they've taken something quite basic, but something very big in terms of Disney history, and they've just completely done their own thing with it. It's something I really wish they'd do more in the Disney parks. As much as I love the history behind like different parts of the park, parks. I feel like they need to take more risks and, you know, change things more drastically, because it definitely pays off. I'd love to see something of this scale, or to like the California scale, done to the Paris castle, honestly. So that brings us to the end of this epic castle showdown. Do you agree with how I rank the castles? Let me know in the comments, along with any future videos you want to see. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, it's free and it will make sure you never miss an upload. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, it definitely helps out a lot. Thanks for watching, bye.